What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode number 19 of the Veilcast. It's been a while. We missed you. We love you. We're back, and we have a ton of information to talk about. Finally, Camelot Unchained, Mark Jacobs dumped a fat load of information in our laps, and we couldn't be happier. We're so excited. We're talking about the new class reveal, the Devout. We got a bunch of beer-drinking, mace-wielding classes to talk about. Also, maybe the biggest information was the beta. NDA is dropping. A whole bunch of stuff to talk about. But before we get there, Chris, how's it going, man? I haven't seen you for a while. What's up?
Pretty good. Really excited. I was just so happy watching the stream yesterday. It was amazing.
You were giddy like a little
I'm really happy.
Girl. Just so excited.
Yes, exactly.
Right? Valak, how you doing? What about you? Same thing? Schoolgirl? Squealing? Right?
School library.
Come on, don't deny.
We got like 5 million classes, beta, Banes, Boons, freaking details on what's coming out in beta. I don't care. I'm excited.
They just keep coming out with more stuff. They're like, hey, we're building the game. It's taking a while. Let's just add some more stuff, some more classes. If you don't know what we're talking about, let me show you here. We're going to put it up on the screen. This is the page they come out with. It's been out for a little bit now, depending on when you're watching this. But this is like showing some silhouettes of classes. You see there's 3 here, because remember, that's the Devout. Oh, we skip past that. We're not going to talk about that yet. But look at all these silhouettes, and it just keeps going. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. I mean, look, just so many classes. I mean, how many classes are they going to have in this stinking game?
At least 30.
A lot.
At least 30 classes. I mean, we're going to talk about the Devout, which they revealed. We've got a little information. Before we get there, though, how cool is this reveal? I think this is really awesome, the way they're doing this.
I really like the way they're doing this. I love these types of little games and stuff.
Right,
play in pre-launch sometimes, and I really like having the little silhouettes so we can just sit there and argue back and forth over what's what. And I have to say, I was right that this was going to be for what this reveal was going to be. I'm not going to mention it yet because we're not talking about it yet. But
I mean, because you're looking at the silhouettes and you're like, oh, that little, I think that's a bow. That's up, and then someone else was like, no, dude, that's his leg. And you're like, no, that's not his leg. You know what I'm talking about, right?
And they said they put some things in there intentionally to
just
throw
to mess
you
with you,
off.
just to throw
you off. Yeah.
Just because they like to troll
mess with you.
They like to troll the people who back their game. We're gonna not tell you what it is. We're gonna make you guess. And they said, Chris, you were talking earlier, they're gonna reveal the stuff really quickly, right? How's the reveal stuff work?
Well, the survey every Friday, all the backers will receive a mail with a survey to vote on which trio they want to see revealed the next week. And the next Friday, they're going to reveal the classes that have been chosen and send the new survey. So every Friday, all the backers get one trio reveal and another survey to vote on. So that's pretty amazing, I think.
Right.
So drop some money so you can vote.
Right. So we actually get a pick. It's not just, hey, it's like you want to see A, you get all your friends, you start a petition on the forums, we want to see A or whatever it is. And every single week, I mean, this is pretty quick. This is a lot quicker cadence of information they're giving us than what we've seen previously, right? Like, this is like all of a sudden they turned on a light switch and said, hey, every week we're going to give you a class reveal now. And not just one class, it's 3 because there's 3 realms, right? Are you guys surprised by how much information they decided to just going all out now?
Yes. Yeah. And also very, very happy.
Right.
We have been a little bit acclimated to somewhat smaller doses of cautious information, and then they just dump all this. And Zacharix even brought up a slight correction for us. There's 33 classes because we have to include crafters, which are not included in the silhouettes.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes, crafters.
All right. So, I mean, it's a lot different. We talked to about a month ago about the Drenger. It was the first class reveal they did. This is a huge difference. I think that was Mark Jacob just kind of saying, hey, this is where we're at. This is what we're doing. But this is like the more official. Now, obviously, stuff can change in the next 2 years. But this is like, if we go on here, let's take a look. Let's jump right in. We've been teasing people for too long. The first class reveal that we're looking here, this is, let's scroll all the way back up past all these classes. Boom, the Devout. Revealed the Devout, and you have the Abbot, which is for the Arthurians, the Hellbound for the Vikings, and the Blessed Crow for the TDD. Let's do a quick rundown. Well, let's just go. We'll just jump right into the coolest one since I have the mic. Let's talk about the Abbot. Let's talk about the Abbot here because it's Arthurians, and that's who I am going to be part of with our guild here. Basically, all you need to know about the Abbot is he can dual wield maces, these giant balls, and he's getting hopped up on a bunch of beer because he's a devout holy man who sits up in the far reaches and practices with his maces all day and brewing beer. I'm not kidding. You can jump in. Let's talk real quick about the Devout. And
I'll just quote the stream that we had yesterday, and they said the Abbot will be beer dependent.
Beer dependent, right? So, I mean, let me ask you, I mean, that's kind of funny, and a lot of people grabbed onto that. I'm curious, though, what effect, do you think that's just flavor in the text? You know, you push a button and it's like he drinks his brew and he is about, or do you think there's going to be like something, you see your guy taking a drink, you have to have beer on you as an item.
To see it.
How much?
There's a brewmaster somewhere.
Right, like how in depth do you think this actually is? Is it going to play a part as a mechanic? How's that going to work with beer?
I think it's going to play a part. Maybe not a major one, but that might be a short-term buff. For example, to drink beers with always the balance. So having some maybe reducing your field of vision or things like that, but having beside that a boost to your healing abilities or to your endurance or things like that.
And I think it'll probably be somewhat optional because one of the boons that was mentioned for the Abbot on that page is that essentially they can drink beer and they get a faster movement speed and maybe like a quicker casting prep. So it kind of lends me the impression that the Abbot's going to be kind of like a slightly higher speed, more mobile AoE type healer that runs in, is all kinds of just really aggressive, just running in and being like, blah.
Right, and this is what it looks like when they do the reveals. They talk about the Abbot. They give us a little bit of background about, of course, what realm it is. Their motto for realm, for honor, and for beer. And it's kind of fun stuff. It's awesome, a little flavor text and background. But also they give us some actual real examples. This is some banes and some boons. Remember, these are the things that you can put on your character when you're creating them that changes how they are. Like this one here, disallows the use of heavy armor. Now, I want to use heavy armor, but this would probably be a pretty good offset to some of your awesome boons. And then also here's some new components as well, which is, examples of things you're going to use to make your abilities. So I'm actually really happy. I mean, what do you guys think about how much information they give us? I mean, you can actually start to do some theory crafting now.
Yeah.
With what they're putting out
there.
Very,
very basic one, but it gives you a good idea of how the class will play. What the flavor of the class will be and what you can expect from the other abilities that they're going to reveal later on. So it still gives you a pretty good idea of what the class is.
Yeah, I think it's a really good dose of information that, it leaves a lot open, a lot of questions open, but it gives us enough information to begin to speculate what the class might be like. Because as soon as they put this out and I saw how much there was, I immediately thought, since I have to put up those Realms Unchained articles every week, I was like, oh, they do class reveal? I can do a class article the following week and just break the whole thing down and just speculate to my heart's content about everything about all three of them.
Right.
We're gonna have, I'm pretty sure by the end of the class reveals we're gonna have some pretty in-depth theory crafting posts on the forums. I'm fairly sure
half of which
that
will be wrong, but
right.
Yes.
But you're right, but like half of it'll be wrong, but it gives people a chance to get their idea what they want to do. Because up till now we're like, oh, I like to play melee characters, I like to use fire.
Yeah.
Now it's like, I read this and I'm like, I like the sound of this guy. He's using a flail, maybe dual wielding flails, drinking beer. He's like
he's
more
still wielding
offensive.
mugs of beer.
Right. I mean, he's like a more offensive hybrid. Like, I am super excited. I know this is the type of class I like to play. I like to play melee, I like to play DPS, but I also like to have a little hybrid, off heals, something different. This is right up my alley. I mean, are you either of you thinking you might want to be a beer drinker with me? Come on, we could be buddies.
I'm considering it a little bit.
I'll brew the beer.
Right?
I still lean a little bit more towards like archer or mage just because I keep wanting to try to get away from tank and melee. But one of my first loves in role-playing games was Dungeons and Dragons Cleric, which is essentially a short-range armored melee fighter that heals people and buffs people. So
I think we figured it out. If we look here at the abilities, I mean, the first one though, if you go up here, he's talking about drinking beer. I don't want to take credit for this, but maybe Mark Jacobs noticed something that I'm always. He might be like, "That thing's huge. You could do some serious damage with that on the battlefield." I'm excited. I think it's awesome.
I did think it was a good thing to mention, though, as kind of an aside, that they did kind of specify. I mean, we can specialize however we want, of course, with the classes.
Right.
A lot of choices matter, and there is obviously mention of melee weapons, especially with the abbot. I don't think the other two mention that as much, but they did say they're still casters. So
Right.
Yes.
they're still very caster dependent, but it does look like the abbot might have some real smashing abilities up in
Some
there.
real melee, yeah.
Yeah, and we don't know it. We haven't seen the UI exactly how it's going to work as far as how many abilities you can have, because we know you're not just going to get everything that you want. You're going to have to pick.
Yes, but we know also that you're going to have a lot of abilities accessible
Right.
on your hotbars.
But it gives you the option to specialize. So if I really want
Yes.
to focus on dual wielding flails, I can do that and be more melee oriented. Maybe someone else goes more caster, like you're talking about, Velik, or someone else goes really into, I don't know what they would call it, but
Balance, yeah.
the brewing tree or whatever it is. And so they take a swig of this stuff and they're like super powerful, whereas my guy doesn't do that as much. So there's still, even within the 33 classes they're going to have, there's still going to be vast differences even within those classes.
They need a semi-crafter focus for the abbot, where he just brews ale to give out as buffs to everyone else.
Right. That's your
Yes.
AoE buff. You're in the middle. You're just like, I'm a drink, everybody. Let's go on. We have two more here. And I really like the way they do this, the interface as well. I don't know. It's just real slick. It's nice. It's smooth. I love it. You can spin it around and take a look. What do we want to talk about next? The Blessed Crow or the Hellbound? Let's see here. Well, let's talk about Hellbound. We know a little bit about the Hellbound already. They told us a little bit. Chris, give me an update. What did we learn about the Hellbound? One thing, let me just start this off. I thought this was really interesting. It talks about some stuff, how, like, if you take off your mask, you literally scare people to death. Like, what? What is the Vikings? Vikings are so ugly, you scare people with your face. That's what we learned, right?
He's a butterface.
What else, Chris? Chris, take it away. Tell me about the Hellbound.
I think it's kind of a necromancer feel to me for the Hellbound. It's more like to me it feels more like the life stealing that gives health to his allies by taking the health from his enemies, and I really love they play a lot around the fear.
Right.
Hell is the god of hell, actually of death.
Bad dude.
Sounds
pretty bad. Right.
Yeah. Well, hell actually in some mythology is a female, but it's she's badass.
Right.
Whatever the gender is, it's the god of death in the Nordic mythology. So it plays a lot on the fear. I love the death curse, which is exactly that, the AoE fear when you lose your mask. It's just amazing. I love all this even the boons, the fearless visage, which is helps with the panic. I think we're gonna have a lot of CC on that, on the fear. So I think it's gonna be much more CC oriented than the abbot, which will be more damage oriented. So it shows that even among the same archetype, each class it's not just a small flavor per realm. It's really some major difference.
Yeah, I like what you said there. It's not just, hey, it's the same class for everybody. We're going to tweak it a little bit to pretend like it's different. These are massively different sort of play styles.
Each one's going to play way different.
Right.
Yeah.
The picture here shows them kind of using the staff. One side's red, one side's green, kind of that duality of, like, you have life and you have health, and you're kind of doing both. You're killing as you're healing, and you're healing as you're killing. I know we're not playing Viking, but I'm sure a lot of people are excited about that.
I was going to say, Ziz, you know what it immediately made me think of, and I know you're going to go here with me, is Hell and Smite. And
Oh,
I really
yeah.
think it has the potential to play exactly that fashion, looking at some of the Banes and boons and everything. Because if for people who don't know, in Smite, Hell is a caster who's kind of a slightly closer range caster who switches between two personas. You can either be healing and then you're doing lots of healing, or you switch to damage and you just, blast the crap out of everybody. And I see that being the same way with that one. They even mentioned that they even kind of mentioned like it might be the only one that really kind of leans more heavily into like more of a DPS role than being balanced between the two. Because looking at it, some of the Banes and Boons mention like the more you cast death magic, the more powerful your death magic's gonna be. So if you get into like the death magic role and you start doing damage, you're going to get stronger doing damage and weaker doing healing. So I think it's going to be one of those things where you have to pick. You're going, okay, we're running in and doing damage, so I'm going into death mode. Run in, hit, 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 hit. But then if you need to heal, you're going to be doing a little bit less healing
Until you start to ramp it up.
And so you start ramping it up. You have to kind of pick and choose which mode you're going to be focusing in.
Right. Now, we got to play devil's advocate here a
At
little
a time.
bit. We got to try to play devil's advocate to be balanced a little bit. I know there's a big question a lot of people might ask. We look at this, we see 33 classes, we see multiple ways to spec them, we're talking about how amazing it is. Are we worried that this is absolutely ridiculous? I mean, there's so many Banes and Boons, there's so many components, there's going to be literally hundreds of thousands of more possibilities than I've honestly ever seen in an MMO. This is more possibilities than maybe any MMO every MMO I've played put together. How do you balance that?
Not as much, but balance is going to be hell, but also...
It will be hell, that's right.
Exactly. But also, this is a purely PvP game. So balance will be easier in this way, that you don't have to cater, as we said before in other casts, you don't have to cater to PvE. So the balance is only purely PvP focused. And as they say, there won't be balance. Some classes are going to be stronger than others, because it's not just geared toward single combat, dual PvP, but massive battles. So you might be a weak class solo that get pretty much face rolled by everybody, but extremely useful in battle. So it doesn't have to be balanced the way most people now think about balance in MMOs, which is every class is self-sufficient.
Right.
It's not that. It's balance will be every class being useful in some ways.
Right.
Yeah, I think the real key point is going to be balancing the entire realm. So which is going to be a challenge in and of itself, because they're not mirroring these classes. So they're going in there and going, okay, well, the Hellbound might be better at doing DPS at some points and then doing healing at other points, but can't do both as well as, say, maybe the Abbot can do both at the same time, but not do as much DPS or healing. And so those are going to play in different fashions, and figuring out how to balance those with their play styles and everything, I think is going to be challenging, especially when you have something as really off the wall sounding as the Blessed Crow, which completely, I think, is curveballing this entire system in a very interesting way.
Right. I really like what you said, how they have to balance not specifically for 1v1 or self-sufficient, but as a realm. And when you back up and you look at the hundreds and hundreds of abilities that each realm has, that's a lot more knobs that they can dial, though. It's easier to get that balance because you have hundreds of things you can balance. You say, oh, the Arthurians are way too defensive. Well, here's 30 defensive abilities. We can tweak a little bit to bring them down a little bit. Whereas opposed in most games, you say this one class is overpowered. They have 10 abilities. We got to make a drastic change to one of these 10 things to bring them down. Here, I think the more options you have, the easier it is for them to fine tune and stuff.
Yes.
Velik, you just talked about the last but not least Devout that we got revealed. The Blessed Crow, which the weirdest thing that you're not seeing it wrong. This is literally a pole with a cauldron on the end of it. Velik,
just concept art.
Velik, tell me a little bit about what the heck this thing is.
I think, my takeaway, reading the stuff about the Blessed Crow. First of all, they did say that that's just concept art. It may not end up looking like that. The point is that the Blessed Crow has cauldrons. And my takeaway from reading his abilities is it sounds like he can place cauldrons down as maybe like AoEs, like maybe he can place one down and it's an AoE heal effect on an area.
He's a cannibal.
He can also put them down, and he can cast spells off the cauldron, so like he can use it as the source of a spell. And he has a big AoE like effect that drains life from, or that heals his allies based on the dead bodies around. So that's cool too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that kind of sounds like to me almost like a turret sort of situation. I mean,
Yeah, he almost has kind of like healing or spell turrets that he can place around.
right, based on his cauldrons. Like, this thing's a witch. It's like, stirring his cauldron and then like stuff.
Yeah, like we said, non-mirrored. This is completely outside. The other two are at least somewhat similar in a way. This sounds like it's way out here.
Yeah, I mean, it's like this
AoE. The two others have some kind of melee or somewhat ranged combat abilities. This one feels more like a pure caster.
Right.
A lot more than the two others.
But he probably is going to have to get in close range with his cauldrons, though.
Yes.
You probably don't want to get range of that cauldron. Like, you think, like, I'll just run up to him. You're, like, standing in the middle. There's this giant cauldron with, like, stuff coming out of it at you. Like,
fumes.
Right. It's, like, going to take you back to his gingerbread house and eat you or something. I don't know what... I mean, this is pretty crazy. I mean, if we look at some of the abilities here, like
Donnie wants a beef stew pot.
Right. I mean, they're going to throw... Like, here's some example. Greatly increases the power of the next effect applied to a cauldron and increases cauldron overflow to maximum for all cauldron affected. This is crazy. Like, when you compare it to most games nowadays that come out, it's like, do 10 damage and fire damage. You're like, ooh, it does 2 effects. This is really confusing. What the heck is this thing talking about? We got cauldrons and affecting cauldron powers and then overflow maximum. This game's too complicated. I'm getting too old for this.
It really kind of sounds to me like an improved version of the WoW Shaman's totems.
Right, there you go.
Except there probably won't be spamming tons of them and having constant effects. He'll probably have like 1 or 2 out that he's doing stuff with.
You think this is a physical item, though? He's got to carry around. He's got this big cauldron on his back. And he's like lugging it around. He's like, hold on, guys. Hold on. He puts it down. And he's like...
I'm assuming, like the totems, most importantly, other people will probably be able to destroy them. That's what I think. So, like, he puts one down and someone else can come over and kill it to end the effect, just like you could with the totems and stuff.
Really? What if it's like this giant metal cauldron that Chris had to craft for him and he had to take it out there? And this...
You just pop a, I don't know, trebuchet and just blast it.
Right. I mean, honestly, I was kind of joking, but really, if we look at some of these abilities, they're so in-depth and so...
Yes.
It's not like everybody uses... Like, most games now have strength. Everybody uses strength, and that's their damage ability. So you can look at any class. Everything here is so compartmentalized and specific to each specific class and each race and each... it's like, this game's literally going to take 2 years just for you to figure out what everybody's doing. You're going to be 6 months in the game and be like, what the heck is that? It's a guy's got a cauldron. I don't know what a cauldron is. You're gonna be like... There's so much stuff.
That's why some of those people need to be backers so they can get in on this loop early.
Right, you get in early. I mean,
that, and also what I really love, and it's those 3 are a good example, is all the death curses ID. It's just an added fun. Like for the crow, it's just you decapitate somebody else when you die. If they kill you by hitting your head and doing massive damage to your head, you reciprocate that, and that you just cut somebody's else heads.
You think we'll actually see that
just by dying?
That'd be pretty awesome. Come on, why not? Let's see it. I want to see it.
That would be fun. That would be really fun, seeing head rolls. But I'm not sure it's really feasible or desirable with all they have to do already.
Right.
But just the idea of that is just, all those death cursed are really, really fun.
Yeah,
and that's what I like.
There's a ton of awesome abilities. I'm curious, do you think we're going to see now, as the game is continuing to develop and we see more information, we talked about how people get to find classes they like. Are we going to see more people starting to pick classes and gravitate towards realms and start... Because right now it's kind of a lot of people...
I certainly hope so.
Right. I mean, because we talk about... We got the Vikings who are so ugly, they scare people away. We got the TDD with these giant witch cauldrons. Oh, we have the awesome Arthurians drinking beer and smashing face in. Right now, I feel like everybody's going to come to Arthurians, right? Like...
I think at the least we must have won all the Aussies with the
right, definitely. Now we got some off-peak hour time people to help play with. I think it's exciting. I mean, I'm curious, real quick. I want to take a look here at the other ones that we have, the other classes that were revealed. Let me back it up. What other
anything up.
That was B. We got B. I think I want to play an Abbott. It's the first one revealed. It's going to be the most overpowered. Thank you, Mark Jacobs. I'm going to play that. Let's just real quick go down the list. We're looking at A right now. The silhouette. What do you guys think A is? I'm thinking it's going to be like melee damage dealers. That looks
Yes,
like
tanks.
that looks
Tanks.
like Thor to me on the side. Maybe a big shield.
They could be
there.
screwing with us with those shield shapes, but there's just too many of them. I think they're
They look
definitely
like
going to be
shields.
tanks.
Oh.
Right. Okay. So we're going tanks. What about C? What is C? Casters. That chick on the left looks kind of
Yeah, pure
casterish.
casters.
But what about the one on the
wizards.
right? That looks like a little dwarf or something. I don't know, but they look like runes in the air.
I don't know. They showed that the mages, the Arthurian mages, they've shown a lot of art with the shawl on the head.
Right. Okay.
So
I actually think C is going to be more of a support caster.
Support
Not necessarily
caster.
DPS. I think it's going to be more of like CC based support casters.
on the left, the artwork looks a lot like the Banshee.
Exactly.
Yeah, Banshee over there.
Looks like a banshee.
Yeah.
See some runes in the air there. Okay, so we're thinking caster for C. All right, what about D? What the heck is this? What is a D? Well, I can tell you what a D is,
Musician.
but that's not what we're talking about.
Bard. I think that's the one I was thinking was going to be the Bard.
Bard? Where do you
Yeah.
see Bard?
The thing he kind of looks like the one in the middle.
What on
kinda
the
looks like he's
right? Look at the
holding
right
some kind
side
of
here.
a
This
lute
looks like
or
a
something.
harp.
The
It's
one
like
on
a
the
harp
right,
ground,
yeah,
maybe?
kind of looks like he's got a harp or something.
Okay. All right.
One of them looked like he had a lute, but I don't even see that.
Maybe
now.
like this thing here sticking out there. I mean, it's sticking
Yeah, the
down
long,
there. I don't know.
the middle one looks like I don't know how you call that in English, but the archer for the violin.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe some arrows there. Okay. That's
Yeah.
D is a mystery. Everybody, don't forget D is a mystery. All right. What about E? What is? Well, look at the E here. Look at the right side of the E here.
right
that looks
side,
like
you
the
get
Melee,
axe.
yeah.
That looks like the loot.
melee DPS.
But look at that.
Yeah.
Looks like the loot, or maybe an axe. Maybe that's an axe.
I think it looks
Yeah.
like an axe to me. Yeah.
An axe. All right. What the heck is the person on the left though? This looks all squirrely too. I don't know what that is.
Silver hands. They have some. I think it's gonna be a Viking, and they have some melee, purely melee brawl class maybe.
Look at these things right in the middle. These are like runes or something coming up. It kind of looks like casterish,
I don't know.
but this is like an X. I don't know what that is.
Yeah,
I don't know.
one definitely. The right one definitely looks like an axe in
Looks
hand.
like an axe. I don't
Yeah.
know. What about the middle one though? Those
Yeah,
kind
the
of look
other
like
ones don't.
notes. They kind of like look musical notes maybe, and the right could be a lute on the ground. I don't know. All right, fine. F.
oh.
We all gotta agree on F. F is archers. right?
Archers,
Come on, they did not.
unless they are super trolling us.
They did not hide this one very well at all. I can see the string for the
F is
bow.
Yeah.
Honestly, I kind of feel
F
like
is
they
in the
wanted
archers.
us to pick archers
Right.
for an early reveal because they just went, "Hey, archers."
All right. The guy on the left maybe looks like he has a crossbow. Who knows? That'd be cool. I doubt
Yeah.
it, but it'd be cool. All right. G. I can almost see this guy's face already. What is this? See, that looks like a bow on the left-hand side there.
You got a lucher pan, so that's good.
That's
That's
got to
there.
be a lucher pan. That little guy there.
Yeah,
Guy with a skull mask.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So who?
I'd
what
say
is G?
Veil Walkers maybe.
Oh,
That's
okay.
kind of what I was thinking too. Is some sort of a stealth class for those.
All right.
Yeah.
I think the skull thing is actually. I think that's just them screwing with us and put like a little skull print thing
Right.
on
They
there.
Probably.
this entire thing is a troll.
But you have like a weird Reaper thing behind him going on.
That's true. That there.
Yeah.
All right. So we're thinking Veil.
I could see that being like the Veil Stalker.
Okay. H. Is a bird spirit pets,
Yeah, there's a bird there, definitely.
right?
Yeah,
It's gotta
but,
be spirit pets, right?
J looks more like the summoners with the snake.
Or H, I was originally thinking was going to be pure healers because the one on the left looks kind of like he's got like a mace, like a
Yeah,
mace or something. The
Alright.
one on the right has got the bird, but that could still potentially go with various ones of the
Yeah.
Viking
H for spirit class. Okay.
gods, or again with the crow mythology for TDD as well. So
yeah.
that could
too.
fit for lots of things.
I think it looks good. I like this artwork a lot. All right, now we're in the I. Yeah, we're still looking through classes, ladies and gentlemen. That's how many
Little
classes
dagger.
this game has.
There's a little dagger.
Dagger. There's
Yeah.
a dagger there. What is this thing on the left-hand side here? It looks like a little skull of like a little baby possum. I don't know what that is. This guy's got daggers. I don't know
Yeah.
what she's doing here.
They all kind of look like
In the middle looks like daggers too.
So these are what? Veil Stalkers then, or Walkers?
Veil somethings.
The other one. The other one from the other,
The other one.
And then lastly, J. This is like a giant
To me, that's the spirit
Spirit
pets
summoners,
class.
yeah.
It's like
I can
a
see that.
snake coming out from under his
Yeah.
crotch here. That's suggestive. All right, so
Looks cool though. Like the whole silhouette of that guy on the right looks awesome.
Yeah, with the wolf
it's like
head.
a wolf head. Yeah, okay. So here's the problem. Here's the problem that I would like to bring up. If we look back at Dark Age of Camelot, they had similar mechanics for all of the 3 realms, but they put those mechanics on different classes. So, for example, you might have a spirit pet on a caster for the Arthurians, right? Maybe he's like a caster, spirit pets. But then for the Vikings, he might be a melee character, tank with a spirit pet. And then for the TDD, he might be a healer who uses spirit pets to heal them, right? So if we look at this and we say, if we say H is spirit pets, but one is a melee, one is a tank, and one is a healer, how does that work out? Because they'll all be.
I don't think they're going to be different in that way. I don't think it's what they're going for with this game.
No.
I think they're going to try something different than they did with Deock.
You think they'll just have spirit pets are ranged damage dealers, and everybody who's spirit pets are going to be the same? You don't think they'll put that mechanic?
Well, I don't think they'll be the same, but I think it's like with this class, they'll all fill the same sort of role, the same like DPS role or CC role or something. But how they go about it's going to be a little bit different.
So it'll be the same role. So it'll be a damage spirit class.
They did say that the spirit class and the spirit pets are going to be another flavor of damage spells, basically.
All right.
More than just pets. Since they're spirits, it's more manifestation of a DPS effect more than anything.
Yeah, I kind of agree with
CC kind of.
I kind of agree with Sacrix. I think they're going to be like a hybrid DPS caster
Yeah.
class.
So which one do you want to see next? Which one are you guys voting for? They just opened up voting yesterday for the new reveal that's going to happen this Friday. It's happening quick. Get in and vote.
I voted for F.
F?
Archers.
I voted for
Archers?
I.
I want to see Archers.
I
voted for I because I've
Daggers?
played Assassins for a long time in MMOs, so
And because you can't vote for Crafter. So.
That's
Yeah,
true.
that
Let's
too.
talk about that, Chris. How do you feel about the fact they left you out? They didn't give a silhouette for
I
crafters.
can't wait. They did promise us in 2-3 weeks max we're gonna have a full crafting stream with a crafting system reveal. I don't know how I'm gonna manage to wait for that long.
So you can't be too upset about that. You get Crafters anyway.
Right, and you're going to get a whole thing yourself. I'm excited. I would vote for A. I love tanks and melee. I think I'd like to see A. Or maybe this thing we thought was maybe E. We thought that was an axe. I don't know.
A's pretty high up there. I'd like to see that too. I'd like to see H because I think those are going to be healers, pure healers, and I really wanted to see the pure healer, but we got Devout, which was still cool.
I like to see P or Q, maybe a Z thrown in there.
I'm voting for K.
I would like to see a G too. I like all of them. I'm excited. I think my favorite part is we don't have to wait very long. A week.
No.
Not even a week now. We get to see every single time. And
We're going to have so much stuff to talk about on all the Veilcast.
Exactly. So much, I'm so excited. There's a lot of information I'd love to see. Let's jump into another huge topic, maybe even bigger than the class reveal that we've been talking about, which has been amazing, but maybe even bigger than
All that in the same stream.
Right. We have it here. Let's see. So, courtesy of your neighborhood realmsunchained.com website, Velik has posted a wonderful update right here. First class archetype reveal and beta 1 details. Jump down. We talked a little bit about the classes. What is this I spy? Beta 1? No NDA?
Yep.
What the heck is going on here, Velik? Give us the scoop. What is happening?
They have announced we're getting Beta 1.
Officially announced.
Officially announced the date of, the approximation of
not
when
a
the
date.
beta
Don't
be.
go crazy.
No date.
The season.
The season. It will be in winter season after December, but before the end of winter, which as soon as they said that, I looked up the end of winter would be March 20th. So we've got to have it at least about halfway through March. I've put a date on there for them.
Did they say
Anyway.
this winter season though? Did they specifically state this winter season?
Yes.
They said winter
Yes.
season. They were actually asked that. Somebody
This-
went in there and said winter of what year?
Right, right. You gotta be tricky. These guys are tricky. Mark Jacobs is a looker pan, and he's a little trickster.
But they did say that even in alpha, they're going to be there at some point. They're going to lighten up the NDA a little bit, and then once beta comes out, they're going to fully like drop the beta, the NDA at some point during beta 1, so that we can finally start just showing videos and everything. Till now, they've kept it up because they don't want too many videos and stuff of the game because it's not the game. It's just
Right.
the engine. So they want to
So
get some actual
over the-
game stuff in there first.
So over the next few months, you're going to start to see some people putting some stuff out, loosening it up, and then what was the date you said? March 19th?
March 20th is
March
is the first
19th
day
at
of
the-
spring.
So guaranteed by March 19th, we are going to have
Exactly.
Beta 1 with no NDA. I mean, unless they
Yep.
have to delay again, and then if they did be a whole thing.
Yeah.
We're not going to even go there. But by March 19th, we have Beta with no NDA. And Chris, I know you're excited because what is it they're adding in Beta? What's coming up, buddy?
Crafting.
That's right.
Crafting. Basic one. It's gonna be basic. They said it. It's gonna be the first pass. We're gonna mostly be able to craft weapons and armors and one
Maybe the
type
siege engine.
of siege engine. One type of siege engine. Because they
Technically,
want
they said
want to be
that
able-
you might be able to craft the siege engine.
Yeah.
There will
No,
be
they-
one,
they said-
but you might be able
They
to craft
said
it.
you will be able to do it. You might not have the full crafting system done, but you will have to go gather the materials and maybe just click and have the siege engine done right away. But you will have the siege engine and the gathering and crafting will be at least partly done.
So we
that's-
all know March 19th where Chris is going to be at. He's going to be running around gathering some stuff on
Yes.
his crafter so he
Yes.
can make a sweet siege engine to destroy someone's giant
And on-
penis castle.
And on my right screen, there's gonna be some Excel sheets ready
Right.
to be filled.
Right, exactly. And that, I think, is the best thing with no NDA. Even if stuff is going to change, people can start to theory craft. You can jump into the game wholly and really start to embrace it and grab on. There's a whole bunch. Velik, what other stuff? Because there's a whole list you have here on Realms Unchained of stuff. What other kind of stuff are we going to be looking
One
at
thing
here?
I wanted to mention that's actually not on my list is they did say that Beta 2 backers will get access to Beta 1, just like Beta 1 backers have access to Alpha right now. They're basically going to push everybody up since they're behind on that stuff. But the reason Beta 1 is going to take so long to come out is because they want to have all this cool stuff built into it, so it's an actual game that can be tested and everything. I've got a huge list here on Realms Unchained. They want working Banes and Boons. Right now, you've just got some stuff you can kind of click. They want working Banes and Boons. They're going to pare down the class Banes and Boons a little bit to have like 2 to 3 non-generic ones instead of just scores of them. Male and female models for each race and class, and make sure none of these things are placeholders like what we have right now, which are just kind of placeholder art. Important stats. They said important for Beta 1. What they need to test should be in the game and working. Basic progression system of some sort has to be in there. At least 3 class archetypes. It's actually 4 because the crafter's in there as well.
Crafters.
But they want melee fighter, healer, and range DPS. They later confirmed the range DPS is the archer. So melee fighter, so tank, healer, and archer, and crafter in the game. There's going to be 1 safe island for each faction, plus like 3 smaller maps that are going to have places of power and plot ownership finally in the game. We will
Yes.
see
we
some
don't
idea
even know
of how
anything
that's gonna
about
work.
how that works. We're just
Yep.
going to be in the game already.
They also said, I think you forgot about that in the rundown. Along with the 3 smaller islands, they're gonna make also 1 big map where most of the big battles that are gonna test will take place. Like they said, if we want to test a 500 versus 500 battle, they will have the map ready for that also.
Yeah, there's going to be building destruction. First pass of that in the game in the map when we go in there. That's why we got to have the siege weapon. We got to be able to tear down walls. Plot ownership. You'll be able to trade ownership. Be able to take ownership from other factions. Very basic guild system and grouping system. New VFX system. Improved sound system, and they want to tie the user interface of the system into video. I'm assuming for streaming and making tutorials and stuff. Hence, no NDA and such.
But wait, that's not all. If you order in the next 5 minutes, they're going to throw in a free golem to open cans for you. It's a ton of stuff. Really, it's sounding like by the time we get beta, no later than March 19th, we are going to have basically a rudimentary early version of what the game's actually going to be like. Up till now, it's been testing stuff, but it hasn't been the game at all. Like, it's been parts of the game testing it. But when we start in March, we can look and say, this is what the game's going to look like. It's going to get better. It's going to get smoother, more polished. But we're going to get
classes.
Right, but we're going to be building
more
stuff,
classes.
Destroying stuff, gathering stuff, killing people, actual real classes that we can build up. And, like, I mean, we're going to be this is ready to go.
You're going to have something you can actually play. It may not be super awesome and polished, but there will be a game that we can actually play. Instead of going, I am shooting magical sparks.
Right. Now, did they say anything at all about the how often they're going to have the servers open? Is it still going to be on a whim?
Well, not for beta 1. They didn't say anything about beta 1, except they did say that I think they said they were going to continue like the Friday night fights type thing.
Right.
But they were also going to have more concentrated. Oh, sorry, that was for alpha.
Yeah.
They're going to continue the Friday night fights, but then they're
beta
also going to have additional concentrated testing for the beta 1 backers and alpha backers to get involved on to test some of these classes that are coming out. So we'll get to try them before beta 1 comes out. So if you're a backer with beta 1, you can get alpha access and test the classes before beta 1 comes out.
Booyah.
I'm not trying to sell the game or anything. I'm just saying.
No.
But it's nice that they have this plan.
They also said that the beta won't be 24/7, but I can gather that it's going to be longer than the alpha periods we've had. But they did say when they want to test big battles, they're going to limit the time you can log in to try to concentrate the number of players to actually have those 500 versus 500 battles.
So we're going to have Friday night fights that are open for however many hours on Friday. Log in, have fun, do what you want. But then there'll be specific tests. We want to get 600 people in the game for this hour-and-a-half window on Thursday night. Everybody come in during that hour. Let's focus on that.
Siege the fuck out of the castle.
Right, exactly. Chris is excited. He's ready to destroy something. He's ready to tear it down.
Singing Camelot.
What is, I'm sure I know the answer to this already for Chris, but let me ask anyway. For also Velik and myself, when beta starts, when end of March, April, when we're able to jump in, what's the first thing, your first hour in the game, what are you going to want to do?
Gather.
Just gather. Chris wants to go
gather
flowers.
Hi-ho. He's off to work he goes.
That's right.
I'm gonna outfit you guys with the best we can do already in beta.
See how the crafting system works. See how that. Do you think they're gonna have the Vox Magus in? They have to, right? That's how crafting works. You can't craft without that. They have to have a.
I hope they will have it. They did say it's gonna be very basic, so we probably will have faster crafting, more streamlined system until they really implement the full system. But we'll have at least the gathering and the crafting, maybe not the refining in the middle, but at least the gathering and the crafting and the decay, probably also, since they said they were going to test items and armors. So you're probably going to have the decaying system also.
I can tell you the first thing I will do after I make my character and look at all the interface and stuff. I'm going to run as fast as I can directly into enemy territory and go just straight deep, just balls deep, all the way to the back line,
fully naked,
and just find what I can find, scout everything out. I just want to run and see everything I can. What about you, Velik? What would you do when this comes out? And
first thing I'm going to do, since Archer's going to be in there, is make an Archer and then walk in somewhere, find the highest point I can, and just sit there and shoot people. That's all I want to do. I just want to. I just really want to see if I like the Archer.
You can do target practice. We can go. Chris can make some pick some apples. He can go put apples out, and then he can target practice shooting them.
My
Just
desires
grab-
are really basic. I just want to make an archer and get out there and start shooting people. That's it.
I'm gonna make a fence. Go grab some Lucherpan and put them on the fence and let Velik do target practice.
Now we're
I
talking
would be
about
happy to.
in chat. Some people are talking about. We said 500 people for this test, and people in chat are like 500 versus 500, and someone else is like it's 3 realms, 500 versus 500, and then someone's like, well, what if 1,500 people dances and they're gonna break the server? That is the biggest, and it's not sexy, and you can't put it on a poster and be like, ooh, yay. But that's the biggest thing that's gonna set this game apart. Is right now in testing. I don't know the exact number, but they've had over 1,000 people. Right? How many is it, Chris?
I think in the stream they said 2,000.
2,000 people.
With at least, I think the players themselves, it was around 600 or 700, and the rest were bots. But they take the same load on the server.
So it's the same as having people. The only difference is there's not someone controlling. But literally 2,000 people in this game world, and the server did perfectly
in a
fine.
small map.
In a small map. We're talking literally hundreds and hundreds, 400 or 500 people you could have on your screen at the same time and still play the game, which is unbelievably different than other games that are out there where you have 10 or 15 people on the screen and the game is lagging.
And you start lagging.
Right? Or even games like World of Warcraft where they can't make a bigger battleground than 50 on 50 because the game can't handle it. I mean, that's why they don't have these massive... This
and
is
why
something
they
that's
had
gonna,
to build the engine.
When we say 500 people test, we're not joking. I mean, literally, you're going to have more people on this game sieging you have ever seen in your life. It's going to be more sieges, more fireballs, more knights in the front with shields and killing people and spells you've ever seen in every game. And I think for a lot of us, that's why we're so excited because it's completely different. I mean, it's like, holy crap, it's going to be amazing. I'm super excited. I'm ready to get in there. Get some real information, because even though they've been working on the real game, we're talking like classes and stuff that we didn't know how it was going to be. This is a real class that we're going to see some iteration of it actually in the game. So I'm going to
What I also like, I wanted to add, when we talk about theory crafting, I think since they reveal not everything about the classes, I think when people will start theory crafting, they will look for ideas to develop those classes in those theory crafting threads, I think, because they read the forums. So if they find good ideas to add some basic abilities to those classes, some more flavor, some banes and boons or whatever, they will probably add. So you still probably will have a voice in how your favorite class will develop.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm just saying it right now. Double fisting beer mugs, beer steins, double fisted beer steins.
I only have one. I'm still in training. They only gave me one right now.
You need the second one now.
I couldn't handle a second one.
Someone's gonna make fan art of the Abbott now, double fisting beer steins.
Right? Exactly.
Like,
and I mean, it's been a long time coming, and I would definitely give props to the developers for 2 years making a game and weathering the storm of not having something flashy to show and having fans who are frustrated because they haven't gotten information and sticking to their guns and saying, we're not going to put something out there just to make you happy. We're going to do what's right to make the game as good as we can. And we've gotten to a point now where they're able to start showing us stuff we want, not because they're trying to appease us, because that's the stage that we're in, and the game is still going. I mean, it's still going to take a while. We're still a year and a half from launch, in that time frame, but I'm excited. I'm excited. Chris, let me ask you final thoughts on the class reveal, on the beta, the NDA, on flower gathering and crafting. What your final thoughts?
I'm loving what they're doing. I like the teaser. I think those silhouettes are really cool. And I love the way they're doing it. It's been a long time coming. It's really cool to finally see some real meaty info, to really talk about what we know and not just what we hope or what we think, but actually having real infos. And they're not just giving us class names. They're really giving us a lot of infos, even for first pass at classes. So I'm really excited, and I can't wait for beta, and I can't wait for in 3 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks for the crafting presentation.
Right. Velik, what about you?
I think it's important to mention that Donnie just reminded us that MJ did say that they're going to program some bunnies in there, and
Killer bunnies, AI killer
Yeah.
bunnies, right?
but
Yes.
I think that I do actually think that's awesome because the game needs some extra stuff to have life in it. But for me, the whole thing, it's all about beta. As much as I really wanted a healer class, and it's awesome that we got one, even if it's a hybrid healer class. And I think the hybrid healer classes they put out sound really cool and are a great example of how they're going to do the non-mirrored classes and everything working. I'm just excited about the beta announcement. I think it's a fulfillment of a promise. They were actually a little bit late giving us the beta announcement. It's been a little bit over 2 months since they said in 2 months you're going to get a beta announcement, but it's only like a week over or something, so I'm not going to begrudge them that, or like a week and a half over. I'm not going to argue with that. So they promised us in 2 months you're getting an announcement. In 2 months we got an announcement saying, hey, 3 to 5 months you're getting beta 1, and this is exactly how it's going to work. This is exactly what's going to be at a minimum in beta 1.
Lots of stuff.
And
So that's awesome.
what we also forgot to say is they're gonna set up the list we're seeing right now on Camelot Unchained. They're gonna set up a page next week with detailing all that. Just for those who have been following the game for a long time, they had the PAT, the pre-alpha test listings, listing everything they had to do to the next pre-alpha stage. They're going to do the same for this one. So we're going to see in real time how fast they're going and how much they have already done. So we can even guess better as time goes when the beta will be.
Yeah. I'll just say I'm still completely blown away by how much is in the game. Like, I think we're going to get a year and a half from now, the game's going to be out. We're just going to be blown away with the thousands of abilities and how big the world is and how many classes there are. I think what they're making is huge. So I think that's amazing. Go out and vote if you're a backer. Become a backer. You can vote and see what classes you want. Vote for A. We want to see tanks. Show some tanks some love. I'm super excited. We will be back every other week. We'll be back 2 weeks from now, Saturdays at 3 p.m. Eastern. We're going to have 2 class reveals. We're going to pick the best class reveal. We're going to have tons of new information, so we're super excited about that. Don't forget to go check out the update on realmsunchained.com. Lots of information there, and I think that's it. We'll see you next time.